Whoopi Goldberg is obnoxious and stupid beyond all measure. The Holocaust was not about race. Ask the Nazis. The entire Holocaust was about race.
Do any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea.
Have you ever seen someone be so confidently wrong that it feels like they're begging for a reality check? Well, Whoopi Goldberg delivered another one of those moments on The View, and Ben Shapiro wasn't about to let it slide. He stopped everything and delivered a takedown so sharp, it practically deserved a standing ovation.
And yes, you are a complete stupid idiot. My God. She is so stupid. This is the same lady who thinks everything is racist. Everything and everyone is racist, except for the Holocaust. Genius, Whoopi Goldberg.
But before we dive in, let's take a moment to uncover what Ben Shapiro's ultimate dream in life really is. It might just surprise you.
Well, folks, as you know, I love one show on TV more than any show on TV. The View.
Gary!
I've had a lifelong ambition to actually be a guest on The View. They'll never have me on, of course, because it would go horribly.
Ben Shapiro has built his entire brand on tearing apart weak arguments, and when it comes to The View, Whoopi Goldberg is practically his favorite target. Time and again, he's called out their contradictions, flimsy logic, and complete disregard for facts. But buckle up, because this time things hit a whole new level of absurd. It all started when Whoopi Goldberg downplayed the Holocaust. Yes, you heard that right. Ben, never one to let historical revisionism slide, came in swinging with a takedown that was swift, sharp, and unapologetic.
The Holocaust isn't about race. No. It's not about race. It's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
No!
Whoopi boldly claimed that the Holocaust wasn't about race, a statement that left historians, the internet, and honestly anyone with a fifth-grade education completely stunned. And Ben? He didn't waste a second calling out exactly what everyone else was thinking.
But it's not about race. But these are two white groups of people.
Ah! Not only is that the worst clip in the history of The View, that is the worst clip in the history of television. Like, all of television history.
Whoopi, the same person who brings up race in nearly every political conversation, suddenly decided that race didn't matter in one of the most racially driven atrocities in history? Really, Whoopi? That contradiction was all Ben Shapiro needed to highlight the obvious. Whoopi isn't interested in facts, just narratives that fit her personal ideology.
Ask the Nazis. The entire Holocaust was about race. All of it. Which is why they didn't just pick on Jews who observed Judaism. They picked on anyone who had quote-unquote Jewish blood. The entire thing was about race.
You in danger, girl.
But you notice, I mean, what she says there is not just stupid, by the way, it's despicable. When she says the Holocaust, basically just flatten it out. It's just about man's inhumanity to man. It's like it's just like that time when you open your car door and you sort of bump the guy next to you and you leave a ding in his car, but you don't leave a note on his windshield.
But Ben didn't stop there. He broke down exactly why Whoopi's comments were so dangerous, especially in an age where misinformation spreads like wildfire. Allowing someone with her platform to casually rewrite history isn't just irresponsible, it's downright reckless.
Man's inhumanity to man. Nope! It's about a genocidal attempt to exterminate the Jews, which has a thousands of year old history. And yes, it was rooted in race. And yes, anti-Semitism is different. And yes, you are a complete stupid idiot. My God. She is so stupid. This is the same lady who thinks everything is racist. Everything and everyone is racist, except for the Holocaust.
This isn't the first time Whoopi has made dangerously uninformed statements. Over the years, she's repeatedly spread misinformation, while presenting herself as an authority on political and social issues.
You know, it's interesting that a lot of the English language has to be rethought. Blackmailing is negative, black sheep, negative. I can think of a few others if I had the time, but those words are kind of like embedded in our psyches and maybe need to be changed. Why is a black sheep a bad thing and a white sheep is a good thing? Why? They're just sheep.
Well, it's not the words. It's not the words. It's the way we think about it.
I like that Meghan McCain is like, I cannot believe I'm here right now. Meghan McCain is like, what is happening?
Ben Shapiro has frequently pointed out that Whoopi gets a free pass from the media. According to him, if a conservative made similar statements, the backlash would be immediate and merciless.
Probably they started saying black sheep versus white sheep, not because of the commonality of the sheep, but because of black people in like rural Europe. Nailed it. Yeah, it's about what? African American sheep. This is so stupid. It's about black male, like black people male.
Blackmail! Thank you, Cleveland.
What in the... How many more of these are there?
Now let's talk about Whoopi's stance on abortion, specifically her claim that men shouldn't have a say in the debate. Ben finds this especially ironic, given the left's constant push for gender inclusivity. You can't have it both ways.
Any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea. I'm fine if you disagree with abortion. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, you do.
My problem comes when you tell me what I need to do with my doctor and my family. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
If liberals insist that men can get pregnant, as many woke activists now do, then why shouldn't men have a voice in the abortion debate? According to Ben, this is where Whoopi's logic completely collapses under the weight of its own contradictions.
So I have a few questions many questions on this, as it turns out. First,
Transphobia!
massive transphobia. If you don't have eggs, you can't... Are you saying that some women can't be men and some men can't be women? Are you saying unless you have eggs, you're not a woman? Is that what you're saying, Whoopi Goldberg? Also, if that is the new standard, how about women who are postmenopausal? Whoopi Goldberg? Can they have opinions on... I mean, you can't have a baby right now, I assume. How old is Whoopi Goldberg? She's in her 60s. Yeah, unless there's been some sort of miracle that has occurred.
Ben also highlighted the glaring hypocrisy in Whoopi's stance on bodily autonomy. She insists the government should stay out of women's healthcare decisions, yet had no problem backing vaccine mandates that force people to undergo medical procedures against their will.
I noticed another thing. I can have an opinion on what a fetus would think, because I was once a fetus. In fact, spoiler alert.
All of us were once fetus.
Every single one of us. I know, this is crazy. And you know what I can pretty well guarantee? Fetuses don't like being stabbed in the face and sucked into a sink.
And the contradictions don't stop there. Ben pointed out that while Whoopi constantly criticizes America as a racist nation, she continues to thrive, enjoying wealth, fame, and privilege granted by the very society she claims to condemn.
No. In the sense that,
In a sense.
what I mean? Like, what I'm saying
There's more jobs to be
in LA, they always,
But they don't are not only the
no,
only
I
people
didn't mean
doing
it like that. Come on.
Whoopi often claims that systemic racism is holding people back, yet she's achieved massive success in both Hollywood and television. Ben finds it ironic, even amusing, that she never acknowledges this contradiction. And speaking of contradictions, let's move on to Whoopi's latest meltdown over conservative viewpoints. Just recently, she erupted in anger while discussing Republican policies, labeling them dangerous and fascist.
Oh, no. I love that she's trying to make an anti-Trump argument. She's like, I can say anything I want. And she's like, I'm going to say something super racist. They're all like, yeah. Well, apparently her hair was not her only bad decision that day.
Another moment that had Ben shaking his head was Whoopi's take on crime. She claimed that crime rates aren't actually rising, despite overwhelming data proving the exact opposite. It's yet another example, Ben argues, of feelings being treated as facts.
Whoopi Goldberg, the specter of Whoopi Goldberg, saying that we have to suck it up. You know, we sucked it up when Trump won. In what way did Democrats suck it up when Trump won? We got 4 long years of you whining that Trump wasn't the actual president of the United States, not my president, the Women's March, in the immediate aftermath of Trump winning. We got huge Black Lives Matter protests throughout the summer. The idea being that Trump was the font head of systemic American racism. We got the media and their collusion narrative that went on for years on end despite lack of evidence.
Ben has repeatedly pointed out that Whoopi would never show the same level of support to a Republican president. Her so-called political principles, he argues, seem to shift depending on who's in the White House.
At what point did Democrats actually come to terms with the fact that Trump had won? They never came to terms. Which is why they're so celebratory now, because they think that now reality has snapped back into place.
One of the most absurd moments on The View was when Whoopi claimed that voter ID laws are inherently racist. Ben shredded that argument by pointing out that ID is required for everyday activities like buying alcohol, flying, or opening a bank account. Then came another wild claim, that conservatives are trying to erase black history. Ben swiftly refuted that too, explaining that conservatives aren't against teaching history, they're pushing back against radical, agenda-driven curricula being pushed in schools. It's not about erasure, it's about balance.
All of this stuff is just, ugh. All these people who are unwilling to accept the results of election now going, you guys, you gotta grow up. I'm not willing to hear that from you. I'm sorry, Whoopi Goldberg. I think...
To Ben, the pattern is crystal clear. Whoopi Goldberg thrives on misinformation, double standards, and emotional outbursts, not facts or thoughtful debate. Her entire persona, he argues, is built around pushing leftist narratives, no matter how absurd or contradictory they may be. In Ben's eyes, when it comes to credibility, Whoopi doesn't have a leg to stand on. And with that, here she is, Whoopi Goldberg.
When you know who was elected 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton didn't say, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right, stop the count. She didn't say, this isn't right, I'm not going for it. She didn't say any of that. So all of you, suck it up. Suck it up like we sucked it.
This is exactly why Ben Shapiro won't stop calling out the nonsense on The View. As long as figures like Whoopi Goldberg keep spreading misinformation, Ben will be there, ready to expose the truth. If he ever got the chance to appear on the show, it would be nothing short of a disaster for the hosts. He wouldn't hold back, and the entire panel would crumble under the weight of actual facts. And deep down, Whoopi and her co-hosts know it. That's why they'd never let it happen. They simply can't handle that level of debate.
Did it ever occur to anybody that the reason this process exists is so that when the election is over, people at least are able to point to the court cases and to the investigations and say they came up empty?